What's up, everyone? It's Denise Salcedo, and I am here to talk about NXT Vengeance Day, but I am not alone. As a matter of fact, I'm joined by my good friend, usually my Wednesday night pal, Righteous Reg. Reg, welcome to your first NXT post show here on the channel.
Denise. It's your favorite rapper, your favorite podcaster. NXT, there was some up and down moments here. At some point, I was going to text you and be like, I'm not doing this. I'm not watching the show anymore, Denise. What did you get me into and why did you do this? But the end of the show, the last 3 matches got me back. So we're fine. Everything's all right.
Okay, I'm surprised. Okay, I wasn't too sure because here's the thing. Like, for those of you guys who do not know, obviously, I'm here each and every single week talking about NXT. And Reg, you're a little bit more on the news side of things. So I think today we're going to get two very different perspectives here. Personally, I had a really good time with this show. I loved the main event. I cannot wait to talk about everything that unfolded with that. I loved what happened with the women's match. I enjoyed the finals of the Dusty Cup tournament. And then I'm trying to think, like everything else, it was probably, I liked the no DQ match with Dijak and Joe Gacy. I had a fun time with that one. There was probably only 2 matches that I kind of wasn't like as crazy about, but the rest of the actual card, I had a good time with. But Reg, like overall though, I know you kind of mentioned a little bit right now, but like overall, was this what you expected?
Yeah, I think kind of what they have been building NXT on. This kind of represented the new direction going into the CW later this year. It felt like the stars that they were building and what they expected to be. It was presented here, especially with the ending. The ending I thought was pretty important. We're going to talk about it here, but like kind of going into these guys could potentially be called up. Like this is kind of it could be closing a chapter of what NXT has represented for a long time.
I know. I can't believe it. I thought that today was a pretty good, solid show, top to bottom. There were some big moments that we're going to get into just now. But before I get started with everything and everybody, we got our first super chat here. Well, not super chat, but Sheldon Jackson. Thank you so much for gifting us the 5 DWO memberships. If you guys do want to get your questions, your comments, your reactions sent here in the show, you are more than welcome to send in a super chat at any point. Not only does it help get your question read here or your overall thoughts read here on the stream, but on top of that, it helps support this channel as well as helps me afford to have some lovely guests like Reg.
me. Send money. I need it.
So we're gonna go ahead and get right into so I'm going to start with the Dusty Cup final only because that is going to lead into the actual main event portion of that. And then we'll get right into what went down. So here we go. So we actually kicked off the show as most of us expected, since we knew that Trick Williams was going to be pulling double duty here tonight. Baron Corbin and Bron Breakker versus Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams in the finals of the Dusty Cup Classic that we had here. And I got to tell you, man, Reg, I had a good time with this match. I was wondering, because I was expecting the turn to happen today between Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. I was expecting it at some point, but I didn't know exactly when or how it was going to lead to the actual turn. And one of the things that I had mentioned on my Tuesday show actually ended up happening. So it was during this match that Carmelo Hayes was the one that took the pin from Bron Breakker. And I had said, I think that this is going to be part of what causes Carmelo Hayes to be like really pissed off and nasty once we get to the main event. He's going to be all bitter that he was the one that took the pin in the match. And he did take the pin in the actual matchup. But what did you think of the work that you saw from all of these 4 guys in this match?
I actually like this match a lot. I think that Bron Breakker, I mean, I was a longtime Steiner Brothers fan, so like this makes a lot of sense. His explosiveness, I've said many times, the spear is like my least favorite move in the history of wrestling, but he has an amazing spear. He makes me not hate the spear, and just his intensity. He's a Steiner for real, and it's presented. Baron Corbin, I'm going to leave it alone because I don't really care about that. But Trick and Melo, I think, are tremendous. Melo looks like a big star, but Trick looks like, oh my God. Put him on WrestleMania, this WrestleMania number 40, Denise. Like, bro is ready to go. We'll really get into it towards the main event, but yo, people really like this guy a lot. And I think that both the work from everybody here, even OBC, tremendous. BC and Bron Breakker, I think, make a pretty good tag team with kind of what they represent. Kind of close to War Dogs in New Japan and Wolf Dogs or whatever their thing is called, but things are how they are.
I have a question, Reg. Where was Trick Williams on in your top 500 for black wrestlers? Do you remember where he was at on that list?
I don't
He was
remember
not
off
that
the
high,
top.
right? Because
Yeah, I don't remember
I
the top
have
of
a
my head.
feeling that next year when you make this list, I will not be surprised if Trick Williams is a lot higher up, because I feel that 2024 is truly going to be his year.
Yeah, Denise, I think coming into when Trick first debuted, it was all to kind of get shine on Mello. You know what I mean? It's all like, this is the Mello show. He's the guy. It's Shawn Michaels and Big Daddy Cool Diesel all over again. That guy is the guy. But I think at this point, the higher ceiling, if I'm especially after tonight, Trick Williams, mega star. And yes, you're right, 100%, Denise. If this, I'd be very shocked if he's not a top 20 wrestler this year off of how today played out.
For sure, man. I thought that this performance overall was really cool, but I do want to take a second and talk about Bron Breakker here, because Bron Breakker has been like the guy that everybody has known at some point in time he is going to be, doing WrestleMania main events, right? We don't know obviously when, but people have been waiting for him to come to the main roster. Now, I think it was on SmackDown this past Friday, they had a moment where Bron Breakker, who was also in the Rumble and looked really great in the Rumble, he had this moment where both Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce were both fighting for Bron Breakker. So we still don't know if he's going to Raw or if he's going to SmackDown, but point blank, he is going to the main roster.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. People have been saying and wanting Bron Breakker to go to the main roster now for like a year. People were expecting him to get drafted in the last draft. And when he wasn't drafted, people were shocked.
Yeah.
And even I was shocked. But here's the thing, though. I feel that this last extra couple of months since the draft happened, that Bron Breakker remained on NXT was probably the best thing, because it was around the time that Bron Breakker was champion. I don't know how many people remember this, but the crowd turned on him.
Yeah.
They really, really turned on him. And there was a moment where people would literally be chanting Jinder Mahal at Bron Breakker. Like, if that wasn't them turning on Bron, I don't know what else to tell you. But Bron Breakker turning heel, and then Bron Breakker doing this little bit that he's been doing with Baron Corbin, I truly feel was the best thing that could have happened to him on NXT, because it kind of got people re-interested in Bron Breakker in a different way. I feel like heel Bron Breakker kind of made people just more interested in him overall. But on top of that, it's funny because as I was watching this match, we've already known that Bron Breakker obviously is a Steiner. He is someone that comes with a lot of athleticism. We've seen him really go at 100. I personally feel that the last month we've been seeing him go at 150. He had the I'm going to go to the main roster glow. I'm going to go to the main roster pep in my step type of wrestling, because I felt that today, and even at the Rumble, he just kind of showed out a little bit more than he normally does.
Yeah, he feels anytime somebody gets on a big stage, especially like the Royal Rumble, and they just look comfortable, they look like they're supposed to be there, you know what time it is. And yes, Denise, he looked the same way tonight. Like, I know what time it is. Let me enjoy these little NXT days, but I'm about to be up there. I'm a big dog. They're talking about me on SmackDown, and he showed that swagger. It's interesting, I thought, because they won, the winners of the Dusty Cup final for a couple of times have been these makeshift kind of tag teams where two guys are in some kind of position and they win. I guess they're kind of making it a bit or a habit, or that's what the Dusty Cup represents. And I'm not mad at it, because it's always like the trajectory of those two guys is always so high. So it's a good sign, I think, for Bron. I'm excited to see him on the main roster, because I think that, like you said, if he would have went right after he had lost the NXT championship, people were kind of sour, because I remember when Joe Gacy kidnapped his dad, and people were like, oh, we don't want any of this. And then it was like, oh, I don't know about Bron. I knew if he went heel, that was going to be the catalyst, because that's kind of how it works for the Steiners. But he embraced being a heel so much that you kind of forget about everything from the past. You're just like, who's this badass guy? Bring him to the main roster. He's going to be a superstar. He has a very, very, very high ceiling. I could see him being world champion on the main roster, Denise.
Oh, dude, for real. It's like I won't be surprised if he's the guy who ends up dethroning Gunther and
Oh,
ending
really?
his Intercontinental Championship streak. Which
Ah.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say because
You can
I'm
see it at
eventually,
WrestleMania.
and maybe not that soon. I don't know
Hmm.
when. I don't have like a specific timeline for this, but it's like, okay, Gunther at some point is going to have to move on to the World Heavyweight Championship picture.
Correct.
But whoever, because Gunther has, his streak now. Like he is, the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. Like that is a big deal. It may not be like on the same level of Roman Reigns and everything he's doing with his undisputed Universal Championship, but like Gunther has legitimately made something really special out of the run that he's been at Intercontinental Champion. So whoever defeats Gunther, it's gonna have to be someone that's a big deal and it's a big moment. So far right now, there's only two people that I can think of. One is Bron Breakker, and that is if obviously once he goes to the main roster, he keeps up the momentum, he has these big moments and gets some wins and then gets there. The other person that I had mentioned before on Raw, on the Raw post show.
I was like, don't do my guy like this. You better be saying who it is.
Who are you saying? Because I was going to say Bronson Reed.
What?
Yes, I think if Bronson Reed goes like on he gets a bunch of wins, he gets hyped up. I think Bronson Reed could be an awesome contender to Gunther for the title.
You have no interest in Chad Gable?
I love Chad Gable, but I feel like it would have to be something to propel somebody that's a little bit on the newer side.
Okay, I could see that. I mean, if we're going
Chad
that
Gable
route, then
won, though, I would be very happy because everybody loves Chad Gable.
Because I feel like that could be a really good WrestleMania match. They've kind of built this little rivalry in this thing. And I've seen a lot of people being like, hey, Chad Gable could be the one. But I think with his positioning, I don't know. Now, like you said, Gunther has the record. He's the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. So that's an accolade in itself, just defeating him. And I don't know who's going to get that privilege.
I don't know, man. I'm going right now with my two picks, Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed. You heard it here first. Just in case it happens, I could be like, yeah, I freaking said it. I said it that one time.
I'm not mad at it.
Second time I've said Bronson Reed, but it's looking like it's good for Bron Breakker. But here's the thing, though. So now that they won this Dusty Cup, though, they obviously get a shot at the NXT Tag Team titles, right? So, okay. Here's the thing, though. If he's going to the main roster,
right?
I don't want to see them win the NXT Tag Team titles and have to stay there a lot longer. They are doing that one match where they said Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates are representing SmackDown, and then Raw is going to be having a Raw tag team, and then whoever wins that match is going to go on to face the Judgment Day over at Elimination Chamber. Do you think there's a chance that it could be Baron Corbin and Bron Breakker?
That was going to be my next question. Do you want to see Bron Breakker debut on the main roster and a tag team with Baron Corbin? Like, is this act hot enough for Bron Breakker's already bubbling? Does he need Baron Corbin when he gets to the main roster? Because that sets a precedence, Denise. The main roster still knows who Baron Corbin is. And if you show up with Baron Corbin, I don't want to say you might get some of that Baron Corbin stink, but you might get some of that, what we remember Baron Corbin as. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know how the non-NXT viewers might feel about it because I've liked Baron Corbin and Bron Breakker as a team. They have
NXT,
like a pretty good dynamic. Yeah, like they're pretty funny. They're kind of like, just guys being guys, that type of vibe. Look, is Baron Corbin going to stay on NXT for like ever? Eventually, you would think he would go back to the main roster, right?
I think so.
This could be the moment. And then eventually, they don't have to be a team forever.
Yeah, but that initial, first impressions mean a lot, Denise. You see him, there's the Royal Rumble, but the real debut on the main roster of like, oh, he's in a tag team with Baron Corbin. I don't know. That could just be me. I
wouldn't hate it, Reg. I wouldn't hate it. But if there's backlash over it from fans, I would understand it completely.
Right. I got you. I mean, if it's his way onto the main roster and that's the way to do it, let's do it.
Yeah, but he doesn't need it. For sure, he doesn't need it. He'd be better off going on his own. But I'm just saying, like, why wait, right? Like, we already know he's going to the main roster. Why wait? It would just be weird to have him as NXT Tag Team Champions. And then, we're still telling this story on the side where it's like, oh, yeah, he's going to the main roster.
Especially with the story that they, like you just said, that they told on SmackDown. Like, those two guys are fighting for Bron Breakker, not Bron Breakker and Baron Corbin. So it'd be kind of weird. You know what I mean? It'd be kind of weird for them to try to bring that back.
It's like a package deal. He's just going to be like, so
I'm coming too.
I'm coming too. Exactly. Buy one, get one free.
Oh, buy one, get one free. Baron Corbin is crazy.
I take that back. That's fucked up. I take it back. I take it back. All right, we got some super chats. Let's get into that, and then we're gonna go ahead and get right into what went down with the closing of the show. But let's see what people are saying here. Thank you so much to Jonathan Corona for kicking us off with a very generous super chat, saying, "Hey Denise and Reg, question for you, guys. Are you ready for the rain this week and crazy weather we are hanging in the Inland Empire in SoCal? Did you hear about the head guy of Stardom leaving and his WWE bound? Sean reported it. Yeah." So I saw this actually a couple minutes before Vengeance Day actually ended. I saw that Stardom posted the news, and then afterwards I just saw Tony Khan's tweet. I hadn't seen Sean's report yet, but I saw.
What is Tony Khan's tweet? I didn't see.
Tony Khan. I'm sorry, I retweeted it, but he kind of just did like a very subtle. Well, I don't know if you want to call it subtle, but he did this where he did "Bye Rossi," and it says like a big goodbye. You know, TK doesn't hold back. If he wants to say something on social media, you know he's going to say
it. He could like really be saying bye, but it's a Larry David gift. I'm kidding.
Yeah, so like I did hear about that, and it's
so good.
Yeah.
It's crazy though, Denise. Like, this news is like, it's crazy. It drops right at the end of NXT, and we're kind of reacting to what's about to happen with Trick and Mello. But this is gigantic news. Stardom is huge in Japan. We've seen the stars of Stardom come over to America and have big careers. And so for the head HNIC in charge to go on this way, and there's some crazy rumors around how he went out, big news in the coming days when we hear no more, even bigger news. So like, this is crazy.
Exactly. And as for the Storm guys, let's just hope that both Reg and I are able to finish this post show, because it is like literally my weather app just says like raindrops, raindrops, raindrops. And then I got one of those alerts that make your phone buzz during the show, and they issued a state of emergency for 8 counties here. And it's more so scary, I think, in those areas where they have like the mountains and stuff and the hills because of the mudslides and things like that. So like that area is obviously scarier. Like where I live, it's not like I'm not near any of that. So we'll probably get like maybe some street flooding, but you know, at least I'm not near any of like those potential mudslide areas. But so that's what's going on.
The rain has been going on here, but honestly, the wind has been what's destroying everything. I just keep hearing like big crashes and I'm like, what is going on outside? And it's because the wind's going nuts. So far, we're good. I was worried about, you know, how usually wind and the power. I was like, I hope the power doesn't go out while the show's happening or while we're doing the post show. So far, so good, you guys.
I know some of you guys just see black.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no debuts.
You know what happened.
There's no surprises. We just got kicked off.
It's not the Undisputed Kingdom. Denise and I have been disconnected.
No, it all goes black. Then all of a sudden it comes back, and guess who it is? It's Satnam Singh. Jonathan Corona, thank you so much for the generous super chat. We got Jay Stone here who says the shocked women, the crying babies, the FU chants, the heat, all for him, and I'm here for it. Here's the thing, and we're going to talk way more about this in detail, but really quickly, when the turn officially happened, keep in mind that every single week I have been sitting here every freaking Tuesday saying, Trick, the red flags are there. Why are you trusting Carmelo Hayes? The moment's going to happen. Shit, in my prediction show, I'm like, it's finally going to happen. The turn's going to happen. The turn's going to happen. And when the turn happened, my reaction was, no, how can he do this? No.
That's kind of how I felt too, Denise. When they started
get me.
When they started showing the crowd and everybody, I was like, you guys knew this? I get it though, because I was shocked. I'm like, oh, damn, because you know, like, there's that little bit behind. NXT is good at this where they show the end little credit thing where it's like copyright 2024 and you think the show's over, and then there's a little bit extra. that part, and then he hits him, and it's like, oh, because there's always this little of like he's been teasing it for so long, but like maybe he changed his mind, or like maybe they're gonna wait.
He changed his mind.
You know what I mean?
Yes, because in the end, he Trick William loses, but there's a moment where he like grabs his head and he's like, "You're my boy," and Trick Williams looks like he's crying, and he's like, "You're my boy, like it's us together," and I'm like, "You're his boy," like I'm really getting interested, and I thought,
"You're his boy,
you're his boy." I really thought maybe he changed his mind. Maybe this isn't the moment. Maybe they're going to keep it going, because they really kept us going for a long freaking time.
Right.
For a long time. So yes, even though I knew this was going to happen, even though we predicted it was going to happen, everyone and their mother saw it coming, they still executed the turn very well.
Yeah, good work from everybody involved. And let's just move on so we could really get into it, because I liked it a lot.
Lawrence Ross says, hi, Denise and Reg, running behind on the PLE, but wanted to stop in and show some love. Thank you so much, Lawrence
Thanks,
Ross.
Lawrence.
Appreciate that. Stephen Marchuli says, Lyra versus Perez versus Vice was fire. Who do you think the incoming talent is? Team Cody. Wait, what did I miss?
That video that they played in the show with the writing, and there's like, this man has one face, another man has you didn't see that? They showed like a little video in the middle of the show. Yeah,
I should let everybody know that I apologize. I might have missed that one.
Don't forget, a big drop happened in the middle of the show.
Was that right before the NXT North American Championship match?
Yeah.
That's when I was on Twitter reading the news about Taylor Swift announcing her new album. So I was like,
there was a space where Denise tuned out, but not for nothing. Like, look, it's not because NXT was bad. Nothing bad is going on. Actually, it just happened to be in my favorite match of the show, but there was something gigantic happening in her life on, the other side of her life. So
yes, that is very true. Okay, so Reg, based on what you saw here, can you break down what happened?
I don't know exactly what the words were that said it, but they played a little video that's like a man has three faces, something. People online were immediately saying this video's for Okada, Denise, and I'm like, you guys, leave us alone. That's not how you think they're gonna. First of all, where do I start? They say they did get Okada. If they debut him in NXT, I'll eat this wire right now on this show. What do you mean? Like, it can't be, you guys. Stop it. But yes, everybody's just kind of under the impression there's going to be, everybody thinks he's a Japanese superstar, and it might be.
There's no way it's Okada. No, there's no way. Like, let's not even throw that out there. I don't know who else it's going to be, but it's not Okada. I have a feeling it's just going to be a new talent.
Yeah, which one?
I don't know, one that we haven't seen before. You know how many people they have down there at the PC?
Not one of them, like a free agent.
Wait, so did they promote this like they were bringing in a free agent? Somebody from the outside? Based on how they did this, was it like we're going to bring someone from the outside, or could it be just somebody new from the Performance Center that they're just getting ready to repackage? Or
it could be, but everybody's under the impression that it's somebody new.
I don't
think so. From what I gathered.
My assumption on this would be that it's somebody that they already have.
Like one of them NIL kids, they're not going to debut like this with a big video package on the PLE.
That for people, they hype people up like that. Like they tend to hype people up very well on NXT. They do all these little video packages. Remember when they brought in when they were going to do Diamond Mine? They had the little battery, and every single week it would load a little bit more. And then the big reveal was that it was Diamond Mine.
Okay. I mean, you convinced me, Denise. I don't know everybody else. I was like, maybe it's this person. Maybe it's this person.
Okay, fine. Well, who's a free agent right now that would realistically be coming in? Would realistically be coming into NXT? People are saying Julia. We got some people here. A bunch of people are bringing up Dante Chen and Boa. We had seen them a lot. They were regulars on NXT, and we haven't seen them in a while. I don't know, but I'm just going to go ahead and say that it's probably someone who's already there.
Julia.
You think it's Julia?
I think so.
You think it's Julia? All right. Okay. Alvin Everett says, I like OTM, ordered my Chase U calendar. Love the Dusty Cup match. Mello dressed like HBK when turned on Marty. Good shot there. Trick Mello's gang split up broke my heart. That was good.
You guys be seeing some stuff that I didn't even know. Yeah, now I'm looking back. I'm like, yeah, you guys are good.
Alvin Everett says, do you think the message was for Julia or Okada? Guys, not Okada. It's
Not
not Okada.
Okada. Not
It's not
Okada. Not Okada. Forget it.
What if it is Okada? What are we going to do, Reg?
Eat this wire on this show, like I said. I don't want this. Nobody wants this. Chase U, Okada. Everybody keeps putting him in the Chase U sweater, Denise, and it grinds my gears.
Look, if Okada goes to WWE, this man is debuting on Raw or SmackDown.
Or WrestleMania.
Like an actual pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Like he's going to the main roster is what I'm saying. Like the debut would probably happen at a WrestleMania. Yes.
Yes, come on. Not on NXT. He's not going to debut on Roadblock or whatever it's called.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Don't get your hopes up. Just no. Malik Black says Bron was the last person to pin Gunther. Ooh, another good point there.
That's true. That's some trivia.
Will Chisholm says it's crazy how Trick and Mello matches how HBK and Kevin Nash. Mello and HBK was the guy and fan favorite, but Kevin and Trick both got over with the fans also. Thank you so much, Will Chisholm. Bear Hudson here, who's been a DWO member for 12 months, says inspiration to all the women and little girls. Thank you so much. That's very, very sweet. Soundwave 80 says, hi, I loved your podcast and I believe it has a great potential. Do you watch Monday Night Raw? A lot of people have been asking me to do a Raw post show here on the channel.
Like you do one.
Well, I do one, on Fightful, but not here on this channel. And I haven't decided to do one here on this channel because I figured it'd be too repetitive. But a couple people, I think, assume I don't watch Raw if they only know my channel.
Right. I guess so. If they go through like all your channels on your videos on your channel, they're like, she doesn't talk about Raw at all.
What because I just like there's a blank space.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, Sean Ross Sapp, you better watch out. Denise, you better lock her down.
Steven Marchulli says, Lexus King has main event in his future. Agreed with that. Jared says, what is going on with the Japanese wrestling scene? I don't know, man. I don't know at this point, guys, but it looks to be
something's going down, though. I don't know what it is, but something's going down. It's crazy.
Jonathan Corona says, I feel the earthquake that happened last week in Fontana, but Reg or Denise, are you guys going to Raw or Honda Center? I'm going. I'm probably not going to go just because I'm lazy.
That's far away from you, isn't it?
No, the Honda Center is like 30 minutes away.
I mean, on a Monday.
Yeah. No, but the reason, it's not that I'm lazy. It's more so that I don't want to have to like rush back to make the post show.
You'll be okay without the post show if you go live, I think, Denise.
Yeah, but I don't like to miss work.
Miss no days off over here. She'll take nothing off.
I missed a couple in September because I was on vacation. I'm still feeling guilty about that. So I have to
oh my God.
I have to like make up for that,
This is a woman that did like 30 interviews last week talking about feeling guilty.
I do. I feel guilty. So I don't want to miss any days if I don't have to, Jonathan Corona says, Denise, don't be saying F-bombs like you do on Fightful Raw post show. I'd be saying F-bombs every moment of my life.
Denise, there's kids that watch this show.
The kids are saying worse things than I will ever say. Have you not heard kids these days?
Yeah, no, they're wild. They be talking crazy. Sometimes I'm like, oh, let me get earmuffs for you kids, man. What are y'all saying?
You know how many kids there's in my family and the things I hear them say? And the things they talk about and the things they tell each other at school.
Denise, I feel old because I'll be like, what are y'all talking about?
Exactly. I'm not saying anything these kids haven't heard already.
Denise is a potty mouth. This is crazy.
I'm learning from the kids.
Oh my God. Tell them to send me a list because I'd be clueless out. I'm like, I don't know what that even means. Riz.
Steve Sebastian says, Nakamura had to go through NXT to learn the WWE style. Never say never.
Times are different. Times are very different. If Nakamura in his prime came in today, he wouldn't go to NXT.
And it's a different NXT too. Because let's remember that's a different NXT too. Thank you, Steve Sebastian, for the super chat, though. I appreciate that a whole lot. We got Sheldon Jackson who says, I can't unsee Bronco Lima and Lucien Price of OTM as playable characters in Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Good times. Well, they're doing their whole little packaging of them is very Grand Theft Auto. So yeah.
Black Lives Matter shirt.
Oh, were they wearing it today?
No, when they came out, they did an advertisement for it, though.
Oh, okay. Hey, Reg, if you want me to buy it for you, just tell me. I'll buy it for you.
Denise, I will burn that shirt if you send it to me, and I'm not joking.
I know you're not joking.
I'm not joking at all. I will burn that shirt to the ground.
While you eat wires.
I'll eat wires and burn that shirt.
All right, so let's get to it. The main event. And we'll talk about everything else afterwards, but I like to start with the big stuff. So,
some heat.
NXT champion Ilja Dragunov defends against Trick Williams. Now, going into this, Reg, this basically the story here, as we know, is that Trick Williams won at NXT Deadline, the Iron Survivor. They did a really cool bit of how they got to the end of it. He was like down 0. He had like 0 points, and eventually he scored, I think it was like 4 falls at the end. It was very cool. They made it very believable. It was an awesome moment. So he earned that right. So we were supposed to see him versus Ilja at the last PLE, but they ran this angle that Ridge Holland injured Ilja Dragunov, and so he wasn't medically cleared to compete or defend his title against Trick Williams. So Ilja basically came back. He was finally cleared, and he told Trick Williams, let's do this match over at Vengeance Day. During all of this, though, Carmelo Hayes has been the jelly, sus, bunch of red flags, best friend. And during this, at one point, Trick Williams was attacked. Nobody knew who was the person that attacked him, but everybody put 2 and 2 together that it was Carmelo Hayes. He still hasn't been revealed as like the official person that attacked him, but we're not dumb. Like, we all know it's Carmelo Hayes. We've been knowing it was Carmelo Hayes.
Tuesday, he'll probably say it was him.
Yes, probably then. And so during this whole time, Carmelo Hayes has been playing mind tricks on Trick Williams and has just been like a really shitty friend. And Trick Williams has like had blinders on and he's been trusting his friend, right? And so during this match, by the way, we get a phenomenal matchup. I mean, we get like these two dudes are bleeding. We get so many strikes. We get forearm exchange. We get so many H-bombs. See Trick Williams kick out of the H-bombs. In the Dusty Cup match, there was a moment where Trick Williams did a leapfrog and he kind of sold that he maybe landed a little weird on his leg. That played into the main event afterwards because there was a whole little shenanigans on the outside of the ring where Carmelo Hayes accidentally landed on the back of the knee of Trick Williams, and he had to continue the rest of the match kind of being a little bit of an extra pain with that. And so we get a whole lot. We get a visual pin at one point where Trick Williams wins. He gets like a 20 count at that point, but because the referee was out, didn't actually happen. But eventually we get Ilja Dragunov after some really great back and forth. Ilja Dragunov gets the win, and it was very cool because the finish happened. Both men are standing on opposite sides of the ring, and they're both like, this is anybody's game. They both come together. Trick is going for his knee, but instead Ilja hits the Torpedo Moscow, and he's just, it was like a duel. He just fired the shot first and gets him 1, 2, 3, wins the match. So before we get to the turn, what did you think of the match itself?
Tremendous work from these gentlemen. You know, Denise, you can count on one hand the amount of people that have beat Gunther's ass. Dragunov is on that list. He's beat Gunther. Like, he's one of the guys that, like, this guy will die in this ring for this championship. Not even for this championship, just for the love of the game. Man's truest true wrestler that you could get. And he brought Trick into his world, because we haven't seen Trick have to strike like this, have to get in positions that he's never been in, have to try to throw Dragunov out of the ring. Like, he was in a different fight. He was but beyond that, coming out, whoop that Trick, the crowd going insane, Denise. They love this guy. It was so loud. There've been moments of the night where the crowd was into it. They're going crazy, but this was like, oh, whoa, this is different. Like, this is a main event, main roster level pop. And throughout the whole match, like, anytime that Trick was on the offense, the crowd was all into it. By the end, they were bloodthirsty for Trick to win, and they were booing anytime Dragunov was getting his stuff off. I thought the work in this was awesome. I thought Carmelo played a good role on the outside, kind of getting involved. That spot where Dragunov hits him and he falls into Trick's leg, like, really good work, I think, there, just in little moments like that. And the execution of the finish, there was one point where Trick tried to hit the spinning kick thing, and Dragunov caught him in the power bomb.
Oh,
and
yeah, he caught his leg and just
I'm like, these guys are fighting here. But yeah, Dragunov is showing that it's going to take a legit army to stop him. And I knew off rip that Trick wasn't going to have enough like respect to Trick. But this guy, you're going to have to bring everything in the world to stop him. It's not Dragunov time to stop unless they're going to bring him up to the main roster, and they're too scared to bring him up to the main roster. So they're going to let him cook down here for a long, long time. But we're all in, Denise. I thought this is a fantastic main event, and I thought most importantly, it showed that Trick can be in the main event, and they got one right there with them.
See, that's the thing. So I'm glad that you brought up like the fact that I think everybody kind of going into this was like Ilja is going to win because Ilja really just got the title. Like he had such a great trilogy of work with Carmelo Hayes, and then he finally gets the opportunity to defend his championship against Trick Williams. So I wasn't necessarily expecting Trick to win here. But I will tell you that during this match, even though I wasn't expecting Trick to win, they sold me a ticket. I was going like, this is it. Like Trick, they're doing it. They're not holding off. They're going to do it. They're going to have Trick win. They really, truly made me believe that I was thinking they called an audible or something because of the way that the crowd, the way that the crowd was reacting, I'm like, dude, you gotta have him win. Like you gotta have him win. And I was so invested into the portion of this match that I had kind of disregarded a little bit of what was going on between him and Carmelo Hayes because I was so focused in the in-ring action with Ilja and Trick. And so anyways, I think at that point, like the moment I knew he wasn't for sure gonna win though, was when he got the visual pin because that happens.
Anytime that happens.
Anywhere. Once you see a guy get a visual pin, like that's done. Like that was the win right there. That way he can, have some pride the following week. Hold his chin up, right?
I had you beat last week for 10 seconds. The crowd said it. Yeah, it's classic.
Exactly. So, but it was a really great match. And I think he really proved that he can hang, especially because here's the thing, like we're constantly talking and he's constantly going to be compared to Carmelo Hayes because of the way that everything started. That's just the way it's going to be for years. Probably we're going to be comparing Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams and vice versa. Carmelo Hayes, those 3 matches that he had with Ilja were top-notch stuff. So with that being said, because of these comparisons, Trick Williams couldn't go in there and have a mid match with Ilja. He had to have a match that stood on its own 2 feet, the way that Carmelo Hayes and Ilja Dragunov stood on their own 2 feet. And I truly think this was an entirely different match from what Ilja did with Carmelo. But I truly feel that Trick Williams made his mark, made his own little something special there with Ilja in this match.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, like you said, they're way different than the 3 Melo matches, and the way that Trick's kind of stepped up and showed that in this position, he's going to do a different style, a different thing. I thought it was super important. Could you see them just calling up Melo? Because it feels like Melo's on his way up to the main roster too. Do you think they're going to let Trick cook in NXT? And can you see him as NXT champion in the next year, maybe?
I think that they're going to finish off. This is where I'm at right now. I think they're going to finish off this story with Carmelo and Trick within the next month or 2. Let me see, March. No, within the next month. Within the next month. And I think we're going to get a rematch between Ilja and Trick Williams at Stand and Deliver. I think that is where Trick Williams wins the title. And I think at that point, we're not going to see Carmelo until he has his big official moment where they say he's officially part of the SmackDown roster. I'm expecting him to be on SmackDown because he's had already several SmackDown matches and he's been killing it there. So I feel like it's only a matter of time till they make the official announcement of hey, this guy's officially part of the Blue brand.
Denise, are you going to watch NXT at 8:30 in the morning, WrestleMania weekend?
I still don't know my WrestleMania schedule, but I'm going to try. I'm going to definitely try.
That's early, man. Who'll be watching wrestling at 8:30 in the morning?
I know.
I mean, I do, but live with a crowd just seems...
Maybe not live, but I will probably watch on my computer and stuff and, I don't know, figure it out from there. But because, I like to know what's happening, right? I like to know. I like to do these little post shows. I like to tweet about stuff that's happening. So I'll figure it out at some point. I'll figure it out. We'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not even thinking about that. Rich, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm
just asking, just a question.
I'm thinking about freaking this week that's coming up because It's there's gonna be so many freaking events like going down. I'm gonna be in Las Vegas for the press conference.
Oh, yeah.
Very
With The
excited
Rock,
about
with The
that.
Rock. You gonna get an interview with The Rock?
I don't know. I don't know. They said, well, because I know he's going to be there. Obviously, he's going to be doing the press conference and stuff. And they said there is going to be media interviews. They're not guaranteed, and you don't know who they're going to be with. But based on the schedule that they gave us, there's an hour and a half that's been allotted for media interviews. So I'm like,
you know, the Rock is my number one bucket list, right?
oh, he has to be. Like, he has to be. And like, I'm sitting here going, holy shit. Like, if I were to interview The Rock, like, that would be huge. Like, I've never interviewed The Rock, ever.
You know what them numbers gonna do on your channel, Denise, with Dwayne Johnson? Ooh,
I know.
wait. I'm like, should I drive to Vegas? Man, I'm like, trying to get me in there. Oh, no, this is crazy.
I don't know if I'm going to get the one-on-one interview. I do not know.
Yeah. Did we talk about the turn here, or did we just
no? We need to get into the turn.
Yes.
But also, let's start praying and manifesting that I get that Dwayne the Rock Johnson interview.
The Rock.
Oh shit! I'm gonna have to
Not gonna be like Taylor Swift. You could talk to him and ask him questions.
Oh yeah. I think I could. Yeah. I mean, I think I'll probably feel like maybe a tad bit nervous, like maybe right before. Once I see him coming, like let's say we're down at the press line. But usually during these moments, I kind of like. I don't know how to explain it because it's like my career, like my job.
You're not just like a fangirl out there.
It like all of that stuff goes away. You know, I can't explain it.
You're like, I just need to get these questions off. I don't have time to think about any extracurricular activities or anything.
Plus, because I'm so focused on, oh, I got to make sure I'm recording. I got to make sure this is connected. I got to make sure I'm framed. I have so much going on in my mind that I'm like, oh, by the time it happens, oh shit, here I am. This is going down. Let's do this interview. And then interview's done. And I'm like, God, go check everything, make sure everything's good. And then just kind of run from there. So yeah. But no, it wouldn't be like the Taylor Swift thing. I would die. But no, anyways, we'll see if it happens. Who knows? All right, let's get to some of these super chats. And
we never got to the turn.
I know. Okay, then fine. I'll put a pause. I'll get to the super chats. Let's get to the turn.
Okay.
All right. So we broke down the body of this match. We talked about how great it was. We talked about the awesome finish. Ilja Dragunov retains his NXT championship. Afterwards, the moment. So Trick Williams is sad. Obviously, he lost the match. He's feeling down. And Carmelo Hayes goes to him. He grabs his head and he starts telling him, you're my boy. And he's holding on to his head. Trick Williams looks like he's crying. I assume he's crying. And it's the feels, right? Then they let go and we get the shot of Trick Williams just standing there and Carmelo Hayes right behind him. And at that point, everyone knew what was happening. And he takes him out on the back of the knee. And then that was like the big moment. They pan to the crowd. Everybody's like, oh, there were some really great reactions to that, by the way. Love that. And then afterwards, he gets a chair. He just beats this guy down multiple times with the chair and stands above him. And I don't know what he says. He says like a bunch of stuff to him at this point. And we close out the show with Carmelo Hayes sitting on chair over his body.
Huge boos. I thought all of it was great execution. Yeah, the camera work I thought was good. Of Trick about to get out the ring, Melo walks around him and slowly turns around. You could just see in his face like, oh, it's going down. You get the crowd is like, oh man, and then just like you said, all the reactions were like, no, man, he just had this amazing match. He's been having this great last year. He's been in this moment, and you do this to him now, and then he grabs the chair and he just hits his leg like 10 times or something, destroys his leg, and then he sits over him and just basically says, you were in my shadow, I'm the man, it's time for me to move on my own, I'm him. And he leaves with huge boos. It got exactly the reaction that I thought it needed. Denise, do you think this was the perfect time? Do you think that they went long enough? Because it's been a while that they've been telling the story. I thought the execution of all this was really, really good.
I think that this was the perfect timing for this because, as I said earlier, there was a split second where I thought that maybe, just maybe, Carmelo Hayes changed his mind.
Yeah.
And for a split second, I thought maybe it isn't going to happen. Maybe they're going to push it off even further, or maybe they just decided not to actually have the turn happen. And so they successfully fooled me into thinking it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what the great work is. Because like you said, like I said, I was the same way. I was like, I don't know, maybe they're going to, maybe he just forgot. He's not going to do it. Maybe they're going to execute it at another time. I think that little split second of changing it was exactly what needed to happen. Great execution, I thought, from both. This is going to make, after that, what happened tonight, Denise, with Trick, he's going to be even more over now with this thing that just happened, because the fans wanted him to win so bad, and now he lost his best friend. Like, oh, send him to the moon. And
Yes.
Melo also is going to get huge boos. I think this worked out so well for the both of them. Great job, you guys.
I have a hot take.
Oh,
kind of. I don't know if it's a hot take. It might be a hot take. I don't know. Chat, I'm curious to get everyone's opinion on this, as well as yours, Reg. I think the booking overall of both Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams throughout their tenure at NXT, the whole time that they've been there, has been better than what they did with Bron Breakker. And keep in mind, Bron Breakker was the one that came in with more buzz. But I think that they have handled the Carmelo Hayes rise and the Trick Williams rise a lot better.
I think they both have been consistently booked better.
Yes.
Throughout their time. I'm just thinking, like, Bron Breakker's last 6 months have been so good that I'm like, maybe that, but like, yeah, thinking about the stuff, like I said, his dad was kidnapped, all this kind of weird stuff was in the middle. I think as a consistent whole, both of them have been booked extremely well.
Let's see what the people are saying. We got Shelton Mysterio who says agree on that. Connor says easily. Right now, 89 says, yeah, fair to me. Arnold says facts. Caden says agree 80%. Dream Ninja says not a hot take. Agree 100%. Paul Salmon says no doubt. Saban says I agree with Denise. Sven Big says that's fair. I'll get to the super chat in just a second. And let's see what else we got here. We actually got a lot of people that agree with that take.
Yeah,
I guess it's not a hot take because the hot take is
it's not a hot take at all.
Right?
This is like unpopular opinion. Tweeting there's 2 million people that agree. That's not unpopular if 2 million people agree with you, but you know, I
right. But no, but it's like you wouldn't have thought that though before.
No, especially with like second, third generation superstars, Denise, they're always just set up for greatness. Especially a Steiner, you're like, oh, he's gonna be the one. But yeah, in the middle there, people turned on Bron Breakker. Like there was a point where that crowd didn't want to see this guy. He turned it around, but it wasn't like that for Melo or Trick. Most of the time, they've been super over.
I think for me, what ended up what ended up having that long-term implication and why people turned on Bron Breakker was the moment that they had Dolph Ziggler get involved with this and defeat him.
I forgot about that.
I remember when that happened. I did my little post show and I was like really upset by it because I was like, what are they doing? Why are we doing like that? Kind of killed some of Bron Breakker's momentum. He gets the title back and then they put him in these feuds that he feuded with Joe Gacy. He feuded with Apollo Crews.
Oh, and then remember he was on Raw and it wasn't that great. Also, like something he didn't get set up in the right position like he should. He had a couple matches on Raw and it was like, that's when they were like, oh, he needs to be back in NXT. And I think that's when they invested of like, we need to really get into him.
See, and so like that's what I think kind of went wrong there. Mm-hmm. And like it was never Bron Breakker, it was more so the booking for Bron Breakker. And I feel like they kind of had a lot of roadblocks along the way. And now they're getting
I forgot about Dolph.
Yes.
That was
remember, like that was not cool, man. Like they stunted a lot of his momentum. And at the very beginning, like man went in and won the NXT championship right away. And you're thinking, oh, this guy's being skyrocketed, man.
Worst time to do it too. Like if you're gonna do it, there's a time you could do it, but that was not the time to do it.
Yes, and so when it comes to Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, like I think they've even handled Trick Williams better than they have Carmelo Hayes.
Agreed.
And and Carmelo Hayes has had a lot of great stuff that they had him do on there's only one thing that I didn't like to this day, and I think people here know this. because I've complained about this, was when they had him, when they gave the belt to Solo Sikoa, the NXT North American Championship, and Solo Sikoa held it for like a very short period. And then they took the title off of him, and then we didn't have a champion for the longest time. I thought they shouldn't have done that to Carmelo Hayes. I thought they should have kept him like champion throughout the entire time. So that was like the one little hiccup, but everything else has been solid. They really booked him very well.
Yeah, that was kind of like the same situation with the Dolph thing, is they were trying this main roster crossover thing, and it ended up hurting two of their stars. Their two, biggest stars in Melo and Bron. But I think they both have recovered from it. So it's, in the grand scheme of things, it's not so bad.
Right, exactly. All right, so let's so anyways, in terms of what I'm expecting though with this, I am expecting them to continue this. I don't know if this is going to be the stand and deliver match. It could be, because the feud is so hot between Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams.
They got a few shows on the way up there though. They have like 2
you're right. They announced
before then. I don't know if they'll make it all the way to stand and deliver with that,
Yeah, only because I think Carmelo Hayes going to SmackDown is probably, already the time for that. And I really do want to see Trick Williams win the NXT Championship at Stand and Deliver.
Right. So, yeah, they could start going for it. I think Roadblock is March 5th. That's probably when they'll do the Trick and Melo match, I'd assume.
Yeah, because they got to do something good for that, especially since they're going on the road and doing all of those events, on location. So that's what I'm expecting there. But phenomenal job, phenomenal Great execution job. On the match, on the turn, all of it, especially because we knew it was going to happen. And it still managed to get us, reacting the way that it did. So that was very, very cool. All right, I'm going to get to these super chats here that I haven't gotten to just yet. And let's see where I'm at, where I left off here. This one was from Will Chisholm, who says, is Julia still with Stardom? NXT would be stupid to tease someone who's not legally with them right now. Do you know the status on that, Reg?
I think the last report said her contract is up at the beginning of March.
Okay.
But the thing is that Will Chisholm, the whole thing with Rossi is this is all legally is the issue with everything.
Right. Juan Castle says the IWC are a bunch of nerds. Just enjoy the shows.
True.
Juan Castle coming out here with some hot takes. Thank you so much for the super chat.
Oh, that's where I wanted to go with this, Denise. We haven't talked about the elephant in the room.
Which elephant? And there's so many. I've lost track of all of the elephants.
Going into this show and the shows for the week specifically, there was some talk that people were going to go and hijack this show because they were mad about Cody and The Rock, but that didn't happen at all.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, there was these people were being like, oh, maybe we'll go and hijack the NXT show and blah, 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 but none of that happened at all on the show. Like nothing.
Really?
There was like one sign maybe, but people just, it wasn't like the way that they were reacting for Trick at the end. I'm like, they don't care about that.
Well, it just wouldn't be like the right moment.
Right, like what's NXT don't got nothing to do with this. Why are they in this? But
like, let them have their moment, like they're working hard, they're doing their own things, they're not involved in all of this other drama that's happening. Like they're not involved in that. They're working hard, let them have their show, do their thing.
So hard, man, they don't got time.
Yes, exactly. So I didn't know that there was people trying to hijack the show.
Yeah, I mean, there's always talk online. Who knows? I'm always curious to see if online is gonna. Yeah, I'm always curious to see if online is gonna translate to the real live show, and again, it proves that it doesn't. So
right. I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be different once we. God, it's just so crazy because it's like it's The Rock. People love The Rock.
The Rock, Denise. I'm like, I understand Cody, but I'm like, The Rock, you guys, what do you like? Why people are mad at The Rock? They're like, I can't believe The Rock come and do this to young talent. I can't believe The Rock.
But I don't blame them though. What do you mean? But I don't blame them though,
Because I've been mad when vets have done that before, but I'm like, it's The Rock, so it's different, but it's not. For some people, it's not different.
Exactly. And it's just been one of those things where I'm like, God, I think that if there is any sort of hijacking at all, it would actually happen at WrestleMania when the actual event happens. Like when let's say, for example, WrestleMania 40, we're sitting there and Rock and Roman's about to start and the crowd starts chanting, "We want Cody." That would be crazy, right?
It's in Philadelphia, Denise, and Philadelphia is known specifically for doing things like this. So, but my thing is like WWE crowds don't really do that anymore, though. They're not that. They're just kind of like, we're here to enjoy the show. I'm like, WrestleMania is already sold out. It's been sold out for a long time. Those people don't. They want to go see a spectacle. Any spectacle that you give them, they're going to go and enjoy it. I just can't see any crowd getting hijacked because that's not how WWE crowds work anymore.
Well, see, like that's the thing. Like, we obviously have the internet wrestling community that tends to be a little bit more hardcore. And then when you go to the shows, and everybody knows this because a lot of people have been to shows, it's more of people that are fans, watch the shows, but aren't on like these wrestling, very deep in the Twitter sphere of wrestling, or are on forums or things like that.
Families
There's
there,
families,
Denise.
exactly.
Wives
There's
and
families.
kids. It's a different environment over there.
Right. But here's the thing, though. If let's say there's at least 20% of the crowd in there that it's like IWC hardcores, if they start getting a "We Want Cody" chant going, people love to chant at wrestling shows. People are going to be like, "Oh, everyone's chanting 'We Want Cody.'" We want Cody. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's a possibility, but
then
it's the Rock.
It's the Rock. Had it been anybody else, maybe, but it's the Rock. So there's a good chance that's not going to happen.
Like, they could only do this with a select few, and the Rock is one of those select few. How did you feel about the news that he kind of strong-armed it? Like, I don't think he strong-armed it because they've been telling this story for 3 years, Denise. Like, we've been wanting this match, Roman and The Rock.
I wanted this match too. I truly, I wanted to see this match at WrestleMania 39. Like, I had been wanting to see this match.
Well,
but that completely went out the window when they did Cody so freaking dirty. Like, my big thing going into this, Reg, was why did you have Cody win the Rumble if you were going to do this? And why did you have this man go out there and essentially just be like, "Here's the Rock, you can have everything that I've worked for"? Why? That was messed up, man.
Yeah, it was messed up to Cody and Seth. Like,
Seth got buried by freaking Roman Reigns like 10 feet under.
But Denise, it's The Rock.
I know. Trust me, I know.
The Rock.
But they did Cody dirty, bro.
They did. A bunch of people got done dirty, though, honestly. Like, I'm making a joke about The Rock, and I have made a bunch of jokes, but Cody did not deserve this, man. Why did you do Cody like this, man?
I feel so bad for him. Like,
right. His face, Denise, when he had to hug The Rock and just be like, "Congrats." It's like, oh man, why'd you guys do Cody like this?
It's like the love of your life doesn't like you and wants somebody else.
It's like she's getting married and she asked you to be the best man with her husband.
Yes.
And you're like, dude, no, I'm not doing that. And they're like, you have to.
I hate, I was about to say, like, every...
What were you about to say?
I was about to say, it's like watching the person you love be with someone else. And everybody, I just remembered, was writing that in the comments. And that's terrible. But that's literally what it feels like.
It feels like that. But yeah, and I think in the grand scheme of things, I don't think they'll get hijacked. I think from now till WrestleMania, if that's the story, there's still some people that are convinced. I've seen a theory, Denise, that on Thursday, since it's in Vegas, they're going to announce that actually WrestleMania 41's in Vegas and we're going to do this match next year. I'm like, you guys are hoping to the stars. All the little fantasy booking conspiracy theories are awful, you guys. Have Roman wrestle 2 times in a row. He wrestles 10 times a year and you think he's going to wrestle 2 nights in a row? Are you drunk? And then so I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen this weekend. I think it'd be very weird. It's going to be interesting though, and I hope you do interview The Rock, and I love all the chaos that's come with it.
Dude, I don't want to be sitting here come WrestleMania 41 talking about Roman still being champ.
You might.
And this Cody story at WrestleMania 41.
Why not? Who says it had to be this year? No, we're going to be on a tangent. I can't.
Reg, I'm going to have gray hair by then.
1,000%. By the time Roman Reigns loses his belt when he beats Bruno Sammartino record in 4 years.
You know what we should all do? I should freaking start this. I don't know if we can. We should do this. every person in the IWC should post a picture of what they looked like when Roman Reigns won the title and what they were doing in their lives. And once he loses the title, what you look like then and what you're doing with your life.
People are going to have new careers. They're going to be married with kids. Like, life is going to be different by the end of this. I've been saying that as a joke, but I really think they might have him beat Bruno at this point. But also, new theories have convinced me in the last 24 hours that The Rock might win if they have the match at WrestleMania.
No, Red, no. No. You can't have The Rock defeat Roman Reigns.
Denise, sit back and listen. The Rock is now the head. He's on the board, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to start to make, in order to try to counteract the craziness that's going on, The Rock's the head of WWE, right? He's the new face of the company. Him as the WWE champion, going on the Today Show, going on the blah, blah, blah show as the champion and as the face of the company. How does that sound?
Sorry, I'm just having a brain fart, Reg. He won the title at Payback 2020, right?
Who?
Roman? When did he win the title? Was it Payback?
I think it was like the pay-per-view right after Mania, wasn't it?
Someone who has better memory than me, please write it down. Because if that's correct, I wasn't even doing wrestling full time at this point.
In 2020?
No, I think I had like 20,000 YouTube subscribers when Roman Reigns was. Yes, thank you. Payback, August 2020. I wasn't doing wrestling coverage full time. I had like one show a week. Yep. I had like 25,000 YouTube subscribers. Mm-hmm. I wasn't married. Mm-hmm. I didn't have my own apartment.
Wow.
Think about this. Everybody, think about where you were at when Roman Reigns, I can't even say his name anymore. Roman Reigns won the title.
Grapsity didn't exist back then. Like, no, I had zero podcasts at the time. Didn't know you at all. Like, well, life was very different 4 years ago. And he still has that belt, Denise, and he's going to have it for longer. That's been my favorite thing all week. I'm like, you guys have been talking all this trash. Cody was never beating this guy at WrestleMania, no matter what you try to sell me on. As we can see, even more, they were like, hey, get out of here, Cody.
During the time that Roman Reigns has been champion, you could have been born and gone to preschool. Right? Am I doing the math right?
I don't know. How old are you in preschool?
4, right? 4? Because kindergarten's 5. So preschool would be 4.
There's kids that have actually happened. Like,
this guy moved houses 2 times.
Denise, listen to this. Those 4-year-old kids are talking about wrestling. The only WWE champion they know in their life is Roman Reigns. They only know one champion of their whole life. Like, I know like 40. They know one, Roman.
See, everybody's posting what they were doing and how things ended up how much their lives have changed. This is wild. Sorry. Red, you had a question that I didn't even answer because I just had I had an epiphany.
I forgot what my question was.
All right, we got to get to the rest of these super chats. I'm sorry, Reg. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. That's really funny.
Look at this person, Alan. I was a freshman in high school, and now I'm a freshman in college.
Oh, shit. That's crazy.
This guy, Greg Carter, had 3 jobs. 3 jobs.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I lived in a different place. Yeah.
I can't believe it. I'm shocked. All right. Sorry. Clearly, I just learned the concept of time. Here we go. This one is from Savon Watson, who says, Bron was the last person to defeat Gunther in NXT, so I could see him being the one to dethrone him possibly at WrestleMania 40. Yeah. 7 out of 10 show. Love you guys, BTW. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And I like that prediction. Malik Black says, I love that NXT switch up of the talents for their PLE. Shout out to Jaida Parker, Adrianna Rizzo, Lola, and Oba Femi for their PLE debuts. Great show. Thank you so much for pointing that out. They all had those PLE debuts.
Yeah.
Marjorie Ambrose says, Denise, will you ever become a wrestler? Oh, God, no. Absolutely not.
You told us a story about who were you training with, Kota Ibushi, and you did 2 flip. When were you? Recently, you said you interviewed.
Ray Phoenix.
Ray Phoenix. Yeah. You trained with Ray Phoenix. You did 1 lap around the ring, and you were like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
I jumped like 2 times, and I was like, oh, I could feel my chest.
What's up with my camera equipment out there? I gotta go.
Nah, bro. I was looking at that. I was like, nah, my neck, my back.
And
No
you didn't even
thanks.
get slammed.
No, I didn't even go in the ring.
You just jumped.
I ran like one time and I like half-assed ran, didn't even do it properly. And I had my phone and it was just the whole, my body does not, I'm not an athlete. Some
Yeah.
people are just gifted, not gifted.
Totally.
You know, no.
Mhm.
Alvin Everett says Chad Gable won by countout, Braun Breaker won by pin, and Dragunov won by submission.
Yeah.
God damn, those are some good facts. Thank you so much, Alvin. Will Chisholm says, I love the finish of the match where both was like, let's see who hits their finisher first. And Mello with the mega heat. I love it. He looked like a true heel. That's what I said. Like, it felt like a duel. Like, both guys had a gun. Who the hell is going to fire first? That's literally what that finish was. And I loved that because it took a second where I'm like, oh, who got this? Like, you know, and then once I see Trick Williams go down, I'm like, oh my God, he was the one that took it. You know, it was a big moment, I think.
I love the way that all of Dragunov's matches end, and it feels like he could have died too. Like there was just that 3 seconds that separated, but he could have easily been on the other end of this. It's destruction, it's disorder. Great work. He's a great main eventer.
Will Chisholm says that reaction to Melo's turn felt like when Ciampa turned on Johnny back on TakeOver. Some good history there. Paul Morales says all this ending was missing was a barbershop, a window, and a super kick. HBK vibes throughout.
Big influence for sure. HBK was proud back there watching this.
He was like, yeah, good times. Thank you so much, Paul. We got Alonzo R, who says, I love how HBK is redoing all of his 90s angles in NXT. Shout out to us old fans. A lot of people have been calling him out for that, but like in a good way, though. Not like
we like it every time. We're always like, yeah, HBK is doing his thing again. It's great.
We like nostalgia, and you're modernizing it.
Yeah.
We got Connor Pearson Ward, who says the only Cody related stuff tonight was that the crowd booed when the press conference graphic came up. Did they? I didn't notice that.
I didn't notice either.
Oh shit. I wonder what it's like to be at the press conference because fans can go and it's free to attend.
Oh, it's fans can be in there too?
Yeah, I think. I swear I saw that.
I thought it was just a press thing.
I'm pretty sure it's free for fans too. Like
if fans go in there, it's gonna be crazy because those type of fans aren't the same fans that be going to the events. I mean, they are, but like the hardcore fans will pull up to this and they'll voice their opinions for sure.
I don't know, man. Google it. It's probably on WWE.com. It's probably up there. You'll get the details there. Juan Castle says Rock versus Reign is what the mainstream wants. Forget the Vince crap. This is blockbuster match. Have Reigns win. Cody beats Rollins and on to SummerSlam we go. At the end of the year, CM Punk versus Cody.
Juan know what's up, Denise. They like money. The money match is The Rock and Roman Reigns. That's workers fine. And but we love
why'd you have Cody win the Rumble and point at Roman Reigns?
That's the game, man. I don't know. That's the game. I really do hope that The Rock went in there like that bald, yellow, red, and wearing son of a gun and showed and threw his stuff around because Triple H and the guy that is the leader of this show tried to get this guy out of the company when he first started. I would do it too. I would be spiteful if I was him, but that's just me. He had Shawn Michaels on his show and didn't even say this man's name. You think he's not going to cover Triple H too? I think he is.
No comments. I don't know, man. I mean, if I was The Rock, I would be petty about it.
I'm saying, right? Wouldn't you?
I would be petty about it. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Sheldon Jackson says, I still remember when Trick and Ilja had their first match on February 21st, 2023, and Denise wasn't a fan of it at all. Nope, I wasn't. And she said she didn't buy it as a match. Now look at her. Now look how far Trick has come into a calendar year. So this is Sheldon always calls me out, but this is 100% true.
Sheldon had the dates and everything. Sheldon was like, at this time, the date.
But it's true though. At that point in time, I didn't see like the in-ring portion of it at all. I always saw the promo stuff. Yeah. Go back. Sheldon will go back. He can hear my post show whenever the hell that happened. But I remember, actually, you know what? I remember when Trick Williams like first came out on NXT and he had this promo stuff. A lot of people were shitting on him in social media. I was on the post show. I defended him, Reg. I was like, he is freaking good on the mic. Like, I really like Trick Williams on the mic.
Mm-hmm. I think he's come a long way. It's worked out.
In the ring, it wasn't instantaneously for me. Because we didn't really get to see him wrestle. And then so we had seen maybe like 2 or 3 matches. And then all of a sudden he was having this match with Ilja.
Mm-hmm.
back in February 21st, 2023, like Sheldon Jackson just said.
Well, the things have caught up to it. That's legit how it was. Like, he learned on the job. Like, he wasn't the best wrestler when he come in. He wasn't like a worker or anything. And he's learned and he's gotten better and he's gotten to this main event for a reason. So it makes sense that you would feel the type of way then and feel a different way now.
Exactly. But so I personally feel like seeing that growth, that's why I even said this earlier. He had a big challenge to fill in the sense that, like I said, he was going to be compared to Carmelo Hayes.
Right.
I know for a fact I was going to compare this match to what we saw with Carmelo and Ilja because I love these matches.
It's inevitable that, I mean, if you come up with somebody like this, especially how tight that they have been on their come up, it's like you said, for the next few years, they're going to be like, well, Trick is here, Melo's here. It's going to be that way for a long time, but in a good way.
Sheldon with the receipts. Now I'm worried. What else have I said?
Yeah, for
what
real.
else have I said on these shows, dude?
Man, Sheldon with the timestamps.
I love it. Sheldon says Roman comes back at SummerSlam 2020, does one SmackDown, then wins the title 1 week after returning, signing the contract mid-match.
Oh, yeah, that's when he came back with Paul Heyman, and then it's been crazy since then.
Okay.
Oh, is that SummerSlam that he came back? Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
2020, goddamn.
Wild.
We were just like a couple months into the pandemic. I was at home crying. I mean, the whole feels. We were watching Tiger King, baking bread. I dyed my hair blue by myself, and it was crooked.
Blue?
Okay.
What was that?
So here's my theory. I feel that every person did something stupid during the pandemic because we were bored and sad. My bored and sad act was I dyed my hair blue from the bottom down. And I fudged it up so bad, Reg, that the one side started up here and the other side started down. You couldn't tell. You could tell on video, but you couldn't tell on Instagram because I kind of like changed the filter. So
if you go back and watch your videos from then, you can see your
you can see my messed up blue hair. Yes. Ooh. My friend who's a hairstylist was like, Denise, I need to tell you, I hated your blue hair. And I was like, girl, me too.
She's like, why didn't you let me help you?
Everyone did something. Everyone did something dumb, stupid, or some whatever. You didn't react?
I can't say mine's on this show. This is a PG show.
But can you at least admit that you did something during the pandemic because you were dumb and sad?
I did a couple things. So I'll say it's a PG show, Denise. I still remember
my husband makes fun of me because one time, like, he finally came because nobody was seeing each other, and I hadn't seen my husband. He wasn't my husband at the time, but hadn't seen him in forever. So we finally decided, like, okay, let's hang out outside. We won't go into your house or anything, right? We'll just eat outside. So I was like, okay, fine, I want to see you. So we had a little lunch outside, right? And he makes fun of me because while we were sitting down eating, do you remember that during this time, for people's birthdays, people would drive up in their cars and honk and be like, woo. Yeah, how do you not remember this? During the pandemic, people would show up in cars and celebrate people's birthdays.
When?
You never saw this?
No.
Yes, people would be outside their house.
Honk, Lisa,
and people
happy
would
birthday.
show up with balloons, and they would be cheering, and they would do things in their car. And it would be like a little parade.
What part of TikTok was this? I ain't seen none of this shit.
Okay. So, no, it's a thing. There's people here that are bringing it up. So I remember the first time I saw it was that day. We were eating out in a porch, and my neighbors, I guess it was someone's birthday, and all these cars came through, and I was like, what is happening? And everybody was celebrating and saying all of these things. And so once the parade finished happening, all of a sudden, all you see is this. For me, I broke down, Reg.
Why?
I had this breakdown of seeing this really happy act, but I was so saddened by the fact that these people couldn't spend their birthday together. And so it broke me. It was such a nice gesture, but it broke me watching that happen. And so my husband makes fun of me from that day because he's like, you had a breakdown while you were eating a sandwich in your front yard.
Relax, lady. What are you crying for? Is probably what he was thinking.
But it's we were going through this worldwide pandemic. Who didn't cry?
It was rough. Yeah, no, it was rough, man. That shit sucked.
See, people are saying it happened on their streets all the time. A birthday drive-by. See, it could happen. They had drive-through graduations as well.
Okay, I do remember the graduations.
Yeah, so there you go.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get into the rest of goddamn, we got to get into the rest of the show. All right, so
Why are we
let's
talking
get
about 2 matches for this long?
I don't know. Lawrence Ross says, I finally finished Mello is banned from the barbershop. Good PLE.
Honestly, yeah.
Lawrence came in at the start of the show and said he was watching NXT, came back. That's
It's
how
like
long we've been
it's
here.
like the Roman Reigns thing.
This is going longer than Roman Reigns' reign. All right, here we go. The next thing I want to talk about, the NXT Women's Championship match, Lyra Valkyria versus Roxanne Perez. I was so freaking excited for this match because, like, they're two of my favorites, right? Well, what ended up happening is the Women's NXT Breakout Tournament winner, Lola Vice, came in and cashed in her contract. And at first I was like, ooh, they better not do a thing where she just cashes in, rolls somebody over, and 1, 2, 3, the match is over. I loved that they didn't do that, and they actually turned it into a triple threat match. So we got a good amount of time where this was a triple threat match. And let me tell you, I was not really sure what to expect from Lola because we haven't really seen her wrestle that much on NXT. All right. But she recently did a match with Elektra Lopez. Yep. And the one thing that I said about that was I loved how much they showed that they really hated, like, they laid their shit in during that match enough to make you feel like they really hated each other. And so when Lola came into this match, dude, she came in here red hot.
Yeah.
She did not come to play. She was doing all her little strikes, her roundhouse, her little speed kicks that she does. She was so impressive in this match where I'm going, dang, I love all of these women, but I wasn't expecting to be as blown away as I was by Lola Vice. What did you think of this match?
Yeah, I thought that the first part of the match with just Valkyria and Roxanne was tremendous. Roxanne, oh my God, she is so good at this wrestling shit. She's been doing it for a long time since we were young. We all know her story, but just how comfortable she is, the veteran instincts that she has already. She's one of the top females in the whole company, and she's just in NXT doing her thing. Like, she's going to be a superstar here. I thought all the women in this were tremendous, but yeah, when Lola came down with the contract and got into the match, thought it kicked into a high gear. Lola looks really good. Like, it's crazy, Denise. A lot of these wrestlers, men and women in NXT, some of them start from zero. Like, I used to watch wrestling with my dad 20 years ago, and like, that's the last time I watched wrestling. And then they go from like 0 to 100 like real fast. And so to see these women and these men and these people be so good in kind of a short amount of time and being put in big positions with giant crowds and the cameras and the lights are on. Tremendous work all around. I thought the right winner was chosen here. I'm interested to see if they call Roxanne up because, like I said, Denise, she's so good.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too because we just saw Tiffany Stratton got called up on Saturday, and she hasn't been there as long as Roxanne has. And Roxanne this was her second Rumble appearance, right? And that was Tiffany's first appearance. I'm wondering if she's wondering, like, hey man, when's my turn? You know, like, what's going on? When am I gonna get called up?
She's still young though. That is a factor.
Yes, I think it's a big factor where it's like we all know, like, I don't think anyone's worried or concerned because we all know that she's so young and she's got the whole world in front of her. She's got the world at her feet there. So I still want to see Roxanne Perez have a solid NXT women's run. I do think that she's going to defeat Lyra at Stand and Deliver. I have a feeling they're going to do Lyra Roxanne at Stand and Deliver, and I think Roxanne's winning there. I don't know. That's just my assumption.
I agree too, because it looked like later in the show they had a kind of brawl in the back with Roxanne and Lola, which means they're probably going to blow that off. And I think also that they are going to crown Roxanne as Stand and Deliver. Them crowning a new women's champ and a new men's heavyweight champ, I think at those shows will be a good move.
You know what though? Actually, now I take it back. Your mind? Yeah, you changed my mind, Reg. Because as I was listening to you here say this, you mentioned how Roxanne attacked Lola Vice.
Yeah.
So Roxanne, they have been slowly turning her into a heel. And so I feel like she's more heel now than she was babyface. I don't think they would give the NXT Stand and Deliver moment to a heel.
To a heel, yeah.
So I'm actually thinking, based on how impressive Lola Vice was today, I won't be surprised if that's her moment at Stand and Deliver.
To become the champ?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The champ?
Yeah, I can see it. And you got to
I don't know.
understand, like, I feel like we've seen some fast growth from like all of these girls on NXT. Like 1 second they're whatever they are, and then the next they're like 10 times whatever they were.
Yeah, I mean, interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of her to know at this, honestly.
I think there's a good chance based on how she was featured tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Good
there's a good
sign.
chance. I don't
Yeah.
know. Some people are saying no.
Yeah, I
Some
don't
people are
know.
not sure. Some people are saying they could see it.
I
I
think it's
don't
kind of
know.
early. It might be a little too early for me.
All right. We got
Mhm.
let's see, we got Sheldon Jackson here who says also they made Lola Vice look stupid by cashing in mid-match instead of waiting until they finished the match and the winner being exhausted. I preferred it this way though. I
Wow.
love seeing the actual matchup.
Well, yeah, I guess that makes her look like a star, but like the point of this is like you take advantage of somebody, but it could be, in kayfabe, they could play it up to she's a young wrestler. She didn't really know.
That's true.
You know?
Sheldon Jackson, thank you so much for the super chat. All right. So it seems like some people are torn on this one. I don't know, but if it happens, I'm a brag. All right. Another match that I really enjoyed here on the show was Dijak versus Joe Gacy. No DQ match. I got to tell you, I was a fan of this match for multiple reasons. The first one is so Joe Gacy, he did not have one singles PLE match last year. He was on the NXT Stand and Deliver card in a multi-man match. And then Dijak was on multiple PLEs having singles matches, and one of them was a Iron Survivor match, but he did not win in any of those. He came out on the losing end on all of those. So today I felt like Joe Gacy went out there, and this was like the best thing we've seen from Joe Gacy in a really long time, because he was out there kind of doing the schism thing, really wasn't working all that well. And in terms of like matches, like I would probably say this was his best NXT match. Honestly, like this has probably been the best for him. And for the fact that Dijak got the win, I thought he needed it. He couldn't keep losing in all of these big PLEs. And on top of that, I loved how creative they got with this. I loved when they set up the table with the little toys. Dijak ended up going through it, landing freaking elbow first. And he posted a picture, by the way. He's got like a big giant like gash, and I think he has like a little bit of a bump too.
Oh, yeah, it was a scary bump.
Because he just went straight for like bam. Like I just saw that thing freaking crash. I was like, damn, that was a good moment. The duct tape spot, the ending. I loved the ending because he's like trying to get him with the feast. He gets the feast your eyes on Joe Gacy while he's being duct taped, while he has the tape around his eyes, but he couldn't find him to actually pin him. So it was little things like that that I really liked. The cannonball that Joe Gacy did, that looked really good. There was a lot in here. I thought they got very creative with it. Would you?
Yeah, it makes sense that this is Joe Gacy's best match because he's a former CZW World Champion, if you don't know. So a hardcore match makes sense here. I think that for a while, Denise, the way that Dijak's character and the real person, the matches and the wins didn't match how he talked about himself and how he carries himself. It's like, well, if you're really what you say you are, why do you keep losing in these big positions? So I like that they're setting him up to get some wins, because beyond the losses, he's had a bunch of great matches. He's had a bunch of really like match of the year type things that he ends up being the loser on, but like it's great stuff in there. And so I thought tonight, scary table bump with the toys on the thing, the duct tape eyes, and his thing is feast your eyes and he can't use your eyes. Really good work all around. I think for what this was, in shows like this, you always need some kind of variety, and I thought this was good variety.
No, yeah, I had a good time with this. I think they both needed a performance like this. The only thing that I will say for Joe Gacy, now that he's doing a new character, I hope they change his theme song, because he still has the same schism song.
Yeah.
I would hope they would change it just to kind of, I don't know, make it a little bit more, just something new, you know?
He's still kind of giving me like Bray Wyatt vibes though.
Yeah, a little bit, not as much as he used to, I think, before, but I think they just need to, they need to change his theme, I think.
Right.
All right, we got Will Chisholm here who says if Julia comes in, I can see her taking the title at Stand and Deliver. Oh yeah, hell yeah, I could see that happening.
That's a thing I could definitely see that happen too. That's pretty high on the list.
So then keep Lyra strong so that when it actually happens, she gets this match with Julia. If it happens, that could be a big moment. Christopher Marino says, so what's the end game of Lyra? What's the end game of Lyra, Valkyria, and Tatum Paxley? I mean, at some point, Tatum, there's going to be some sort of downfall. I mean, Lyra's already tried to dump her multiple times, but Tatum doesn't get the hint. She's like obsessed with her. So either they become friends and they just continue or they feud. Finally gets over it. I don't know. She finally gets over Lyra. I think at some point we're going to start to feel sorry for Tatum.
Yeah.
At some point it's going to happen.
I mean, potentially. Is it? I don't know too much about it. Is this the Tony Storm and Myra May thing?
Yeah, she's not like a fan. Well, I guess you can say she's a fangirl. Yeah, she's, but just like a little bit different. Comes across as a little bit more creepy. Mariah May doesn't come off as creepy, but the Tatum Paxley version of it comes off as a little bit like creepy. Like Lyra's like, ugh, by her. Yeah.
Lyra's really good, though. I could see her getting called up soon, too.
Oh, she's phenomenal. I'm a fan of hers. Yeah. Christopher Marino, thank you so much for that super chat. All right. So we got 2 more matches to get into. NXT North American Championship match. Oba Femi defends against Dragon Lee. I feel bad because this was the match that I was most tuned out of. Not because of the performers, but because of the news of Taylor Swift's new album. I know, Reg. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Take the floor on this one. Oba Femi gets the win. There were some good moments during here. We saw Dragon Lee get like power bombed for the finish, but prior to that, he was like tossed into the freaking chair. He was tossed in the ring. How'd you feel about this match?
Listen, Denise, the main event of this match, this show was really good. A lot of people I've seen them saying that that was the match of the night. This right here was my match of the night. I've been seeing, like you said, I'm not well versed on NXT. I don't know a lot about it. I don't watch it on a weekly basis. I keep up because that's the game. I've been hearing a lot about Oba Femi, of course, because, you know, I talk about black wrestlers. I have a list and all this stuff. So I've been hearing people being like, this guy's next up. He's the one. You got to see him. This guy might beat Gunther. I was seeing all this on the line. I'm like, what are these people saying? And I've seen clips and I'm like, okay, I get it. I see it. But tonight, Dragon Lee's a great partner to have, first of all. But the power that Oba was showing throughout this whole thing, carrying Dragon Lee up steps, catching him out of midair, jumping and throwing him all over the ring, thought was awesome. This guy's power bombs, the pop-up power bombs that he does, tremendous. He tried to kill Dragon Lee on the apron. He got a holy shit chant from chopping Dragon Lee, just chopping Dragon Lee, trying to run on the apron. Like, no, it's rare that people get holy shit champs from a chop. This guy is tremendous, Denise. I'm all in. I need to buy some stock in Oba Femi because the work that he does is awesome. He looks great. His moveset's awesome. He's quick. He has charisma. Like, the fans are already into him. This match was awesome. Dragon Lee, you guys already know, one of the best luchadors in the world. He brought all that good lucha shit to this to kind of play the cat and mouse. One guy's big, one guy's small, fast work type thing. Really, really good match, Denise. And I thought it was my favorite match of the show just because I'm buying in on this Oba Femi guy. This was great.
I'm glad to hear that because, you know, from what we've been seeing on his performances in NXT, that was like everything that you just said, we've seen and we know because he does bring the intensity. He does bring the power. You know what we love? A big guy that can move. A big guy that can move.
Fast, if you're big and fast and you can dodge and move in different positions, we're all in, and I'm all in.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the only match that I wasn't as probably as involved in was the Tony D'Angelo, Channing Stacks, Lorenzo, Adrianna Rizzo versus Bronco, Nima, Lucien Price, and Jaida Parker. But I wasn't surprised by that, honestly. So I really wasn't expecting too much from this match, and it kind of gave me what I was expecting. I will say this, though. The positives are I really think Adrianna Rizzo has added a lot to the family. So I like that whole bit that they've been doing there. They get the win. Is this the match that you were kind of thinking, like, why am I doing this NXT post show?
I was like, this is the point where I was like, what did Denise get me into? What is this? But it was the saved immediately after. This was like, you watch NXT sometimes and you're like, oh, this is developmental. And this felt like, oh, this is developmental. Like, I can see where these guys are in their position going forward. This felt like one of those NXT level up matches. And I don't know if I would have put it on the pay-per-view. It's good to get these guys and people in position and women in position in shows like this. But I don't know if this was, with the rest of the stuff we saw, enough to keep up the par with that.
Right. This was probably the only match that didn't live up to what you were seeing for everything else. But again, These are all guys, like, for the most part, like Bronco, Lucien, and Jaida, like, they're all pretty, like, new on the show. Yeah. And then with the family, they're not really, I would say, known for their, like, in-ring work.
Right.
They get by, but you kind of need the smoke and mirrors and the stories and all of that. versus you're not going out going like, oh, you just know this match is gonna be 5 stars. Like I don't
Yeah.
really go in thinking that. So
Mhm.
honestly though, considering that I liked everything else on the show, this was the only thing that was a little bit, like you said, just maybe didn't match in with the rest of it. But
Yep.
other than that, that was literally the show for today. That was NXT Vengeance Day. I want to thank everybody for coming in and hanging out to check out this post show. Reg, I hope you enjoyed covering NXT.
Wasn't bad. Wasn't the worst.
Okay.
I want NXT 2.0. If it was still that, I would have got on here and yelled at you, but it's not that anymore. They really have improved.
Yeah, they have, honestly. YT here, who's been a member for 12 months, says I didn't care about the mixed tag team match at all. Well, turns out you, me, Reg, we all kind of were a little bit out of this one for sure. All right, so Reg, before we go, let the people know where they can follow you and stuff.
You can find me at Righteous Reg on all your social medias. I'll be talking a lot of jazz on Twitter. If you like that kind of thing, find me there. Every Wednesday, you can find me with Denise Salcedo. We're talking about AEW Dynamite. We're talking the best of the week. It's very fun. You can also catch me Wednesdays with Mike on Indeed. Thursdays, I'm on with Kate, the Ring of Honor post show. Every other Thursdays, Ask Rhapsody. And every Saturday, it's me and Philip Lindsay talking the best of the week, Grapsody podcast. Thank you for having me again, Denise. All these podcasts are always so fun. I thought we would come in and not have enough to talk about it, but I feel like every podcast we start like that, we end up having a long podcast. So maybe we should just stop saying that.
I don't know what happened today, guys. I don't even know where we got sidetracked. I have no idea what happened. But thank you to everybody who hung in there, and we had a good time. As for me, you guys know, just check out the content that I posted over Royal Rumble weekend. Check all that stuff out. And then keep an eye out for the WrestleMania press conference. Keep an eye out for whatever it is that I end up getting from that week over here on the channel. And subscribe. Thank you to everybody so much. And we will catch you guys on the next one.